Greetings, Nick with Sweetwater here, and today we're going to be learning the 5 positions of the minor pentatonic scale. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, as already discussed in my earlier introductory lesson to the minor pentatonic scale, it's one of the most important and also most used scales in rock. And it also happens to be the first that most aspiring rock and metal lead guitar players learn and then use and abuse. And number 2, by learning all 5 positions or patterns, you won't get stuck in the dreaded box like so many players do, as with a bit of work you'll be able to use the whole fretboard in a solo, not just one well-worn position. Plus you'll get to know your guitar neck a whole lot better and be able to move around it with ease, which is a good thing, a really good thing. The simple A minor pentatonic solo I just played took me seamlessly all the way from the 3rd fret on the low E string all the way up to the 20th fret on the high E string, and I only used the 5 notes of the A minor pentatonic scale. A, C, D, E, and G. That's it. All I did was play those 5 notes in different positions on the neck. How did I do that? Because I'm a genius, that's how. No, actually I'm the exact opposite. I'm kind of a dunce, if truth be told, but I did take the time to learn the 5 positions of the minor pentatonic scale, and that knowledge helps me move effortlessly and smoothly all over the neck. And if I can do it, you certainly can. So let's do this. Before we go any further though, I should quickly point out 2 pretty important things. Firstly, I'm assuming that you already know the 1st position minor pentatonic scale pattern, namely this one. All I did there was play the minor pentatonic scale in the key of A minor. Now if that shape and sound didn't ring a loud bell in your head though, don't fret. There's a link to lesson on this vital rock lead stepping stone in the comments below the video. So pause this one, click on it, learn the fine thing, then come right back. I'll be here, waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Go do it! So far we both know this, the 1st position A minor pentatonic scale, namely this one. We also know that the 5 notes in this bad boy are A, C, D, E, and G. Now obviously we can play these 5 notes on all 6 strings in a bunch of different places on the neck. In fact, let's take a look at an image of a 22 fret neck. What we're looking at here is a neck with no notes marked on it. Now here's the neck with the notes of the 1st position A minor pentatonic scale I just played on it. And now here it is again with all the possible A's, C's, D's, E's, and G's indicated. Yikes! That's pretty scary looking, isn't it? In fact, to be honest, I find it pretty intimidating, as it looks like an explosion in a dot factory. So I repeat, yikes! But please, don't let this image frighten you or put you off. In fact, let's get rid of this spotty monstrosity, shall we? We're going to simplify it by doing this. What we're going to do is try and play these 5 notes in another 4 places on the neck, going vertically up and down the 6 strings, playing 2 notes on each string with minimal horizontal movement, preferably none, just like we do when we play our friend the 1st position A minor pentatonic pattern. Once again, this one here. Yep, straight up and down the neck, 2 notes per string, easy. The reason this one is called the 1st position pattern, by the way, is because it starts on the 1st of the 5 notes on the scale as we start our ascent up it, namely A. So, logic allegedly dictates that the 1st note of the 2nd position pattern will be the 2nd note of the minor pentatonic scale, which in the case of A minor is C, which is right here at the 8th fret on the low E string. Here's what the 2nd position A minor pentatonic scale looks like. And trust me, I'm a doctor. And to play it, I'm going to finger it as economically as possible, so I'm going to assign one finger to a fret on all strings, just like we did when we learnt the first position pattern. To do this, I'm going to place my fretboard hand so that my index finger covers any and all notes at the 7th fret on all 6 strings, my middle finger covers the same thing but on the 8th fret, my ring finger the 9th, and my pinky all notes at the 10th fret. And brace yourself for this one, because the second position A minor pentatonic scale has a bunch of notes at the 10th fret. 5 on the way up, and the same 5 on the way down. Yep, that's a lot. Just so you know, this fretboard hand positioning is often called the 7th position. The reason being, your first finger is at the 7th fret. Makes sense, right? That said, here's what the A minor pentatonic second position pattern sounds and looks like. And back down. And here it is again, up and down, a hair slower. Now, the pattern and the fingering used to play it are not only shown on the screen, there's also a link below to some tabs so you don't have to pause this video and frantically scribble. Now, to be honest with you, as opposed to lying, people rarely play this entire pattern when soloing. And when they do visit this position, they rarely use the fingering we've just used either. In fact, when they go to it, they invariably just use the last 5 notes, which are on the G, B, and high E strings. These ones here. Yep, those 5. And as you can see, I'm not using my pinky either. Hurrah! This truth stated though, I wholeheartedly recommend you learn and practice the whole thing as previously shown. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons, my friend, 2 reasons. Reason number 1. Playing it the way I initially showed you is a great workout for your fretboard hand due to the weird and wonderful fingering used. And reason number 2, it will help you get to know your fretboard better. And as already mentioned, that's really, really, really important. Now, as was the case with the A minor pentatonic introductory video, the link below has a backing track you can download and jam to. So to get to know this second position pattern better, I'd thoroughly recommend you jam along with the backing track using this pattern and fingering only. No cheating. Also, when you're jamming using this pattern, I just don't want you to play it up and down mindlessly without thinking. What I want you to do is this: learn where the root notes are, namely A, and then work around them. The reason being, well, to steal from the excellent YouTuber Paul Davids, what you're playing should always revolve around the root, and also resolve to it quite often too. Yup, the root note is quite literally pivotal here. So, here are where the root notes lie in this pattern. And there are 2 of them. The first one, going from low to high, is at the 7th fret on the D string, right here. And the other one is at the 10th fret on the B string. Next up is position 3, but first I'd like you to take a quick look at position 1, over here, and position 2 over here. Can you see any similarities between these 2? There's one really big one. Can you spot it? Right, enough looking, I'm going to tell you what it is, and don't fret if you didn't spot it. It's one of those things that's often only obvious once someone else has pointed it out to you. And I'm going to do so by asking you a question. Have you ever played Tetris or one of those block puzzle games? You know, the ones where you have to stack falling shapes on each other in such a way that there's no holes or gaps? If you have, then what I'm going to show you is literally Tetris. What I want you to do is this: compare the bottom of the position 1 pattern over here with the top of the position 2 pattern over here. Yep, as you can see, they're exactly the same, so they literally fit together. Just like Tetris. Get it? Logic allegedly dictates that the bottom of position 2 will also be the top of position 3. Make sense? And as you'll see in a minute, that's 110% true. As I'm sure you've already surmised, position 3 will start on the 3rd note of the minor pentatonic scale, and in the case of A minor, which we're working in, that is D, and there happens to be a D at the 10th fret and lower E string right here. So using our 2 notes per string approach, here's what position 3 sounds and looks like. And back down again. And again, up and down, a little bit slower. And once again, in addition to the scale diagram you're seeing on the screen, there is tab with fingering in the link below as well. Now this position 3 pattern does involve a little bit of horizontal movement on the G string, but it's only 1 fret, so not too bad. Once again, I'd like you to jam along to the backing track using this pattern exclusively, and remember, learn where the root notes are first in it and then revolve around them and resolve to them once in a while too, because it sounds good that way. Remember, we're playing in A minor, so we need to know where the root note is, which is A. And just so you know, in position 3, the all-important root note, which is A, lurks in 2 places. The first one, going from low to high, is at the 12th fret on the A string. And the other one is at the 10th fret on the B string. Next up is position 4. And thanks to our Tetris rule, we know that the top of this pattern will be exactly the same as the bottom of the pattern that is position 3. The 4th note of the A minor pentatonic scale is E. And there just so happens to be one at the 12th fret on, wait for it, the low E string. So we're going to place our fretboard hand in the 12th position, namely with our index finger at the 12th fret, and then we're going to play this across the neck. Here's position 4 of the A minor pentatonic scale. And back down. And here it is again, up and down, a hair slower. Now this pattern is used a lot in solos, so learn the sucker. In fact, learn all of them, as I've just said. They're really great fretboard hand exercises, and it also helps you know the neck better. First though, before we go any further, let's suss out where the all-important root notes are. And in this one, going from low to high, the first one is at the 12th fret on the A string. And the other one is at the 14th fret of the G string. And by now you know the drill. Once again, jam along to the backing track playing this position exclusively, and remember to revolve around and resolve to the root every now and again too. And once again, tabs with fingering are in the link below. So with positions 1 through 4 done, as there's only 5 notes in the minor pentatonic scale, we've only got 1 more to go, namely position 5, which, as you now know, starts on the 5th note of the scale, which in the case of A minor pentatonic is G. And once again, thanks to our friend the Tetris analogy, we already know that the top of the position 5 pattern is the exact same thing as the bottom of the position 4 pattern. Our first note, note number 5, G, happens to be at the 15th fret on the low E string, and here's what position 5 looks and sounds like. And back down again. And here it is, up and down, a little slower. Now we're pretty high up the neck on this one, so all the frets are pretty squished together, so I'm breaking the 1 finger per fret rule. I've put a couple of suggested fingerings in the link below. Try both and use the one that feels most comfortable and natural to you. And yep, you know what's coming next, don't you? Suss up where the root notes are, then jam to the backing track using only position 5. In case you haven't sussed them out already, here's where those all-important A root notes are. Going from low to high, the first one is at the 17th fret on the low E string. There's also one at the 14th fret on the G string within this pattern. And wait for it, there's also one at the 17th fret on the high E string. Yep, just like our friend position number 1, there happens to be 3 root notes in position 5. And talking of position 1, if you look closely, you'll see that the bottom of the position 5 pattern exactly matches the top of the position 1 pattern. So we've literally gone through the full cycle and we're back to where we started, just an octave higher. And using our Tetris logic, this also means that the position 5 shape can be played an octave lower, here like this. Make sense? Now the tab in the link below shows the fingering I just used to play this lower version. And it really is a little finger fest, so it's a great fretboard hand exercise. But once again, this whole pattern is rarely used in solos. In fact, to be honest with you, the first 4 notes are the most commonly used, and the pinky is also avoided, just like this. As you hopefully saw and heard, all I was doing there was sliding between position 1 and position 5 with my index and ring fingers doing all the work. Hopefully this short lesson has proved useful and helped you start getting a more intimate knowledge of your all-important neck. As we already learnt in the first minor pentatonic video, providing you know where the root notes are in each position, you can easily play them in any key. You've just got to move them. So, not only get to know the patterns, but also where those all-important root notes are. As already stated, they're quite literally pivotal here. I'm going to play out the exact same way I played in by moving through all 5 positions in the A minor pentatonic scale. And if you'd like to learn the solo, there's a tab for it below too. Have fun with this one, my friend. Take your time, learn all the patterns, and remember, also learn where all those pesky but pivotal root notes are in all 5 positions. That stated, I'm out of here. See ya. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, nicely please, and also subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs. Here's wishing you and yours a simply splendid day. Safe travels.